to another incredible season of Living Room Wisdom, where your story is your glory. I am Patrina Wisdom, author, speaker, and wealth mentor, and I'm thrilled to interview today the most adorable. From the time I met her on video call, I was like, oh my God, she's so cute. And her name is Savannah. She's actually the founder and CEO of Kindred Paper. And we'll learn a little bit more about that in a moment. But honestly, the pressing question that I have in my mind right now is, were you named after Savannah, Georgia?
I actually was. I get that question a lot. I'm not from here originally. Yes. I'm from Texas, but my parents always told me that they had such a good time when they visited Savannah that they would name their first daughter Savannah. Okay. So I haven't quite gotten the dates lined up. I want to find out, like, what were the dates of that trip? Was it 9 months prior to my arrival?
Ooh, pressing questions.
So, yes, yeah, that's where my name.
I love it. I love that story. And we are in Georgia right now, so of course I had to ask that question. Yes. How long have you been in Georgia?
I've been in Georgia for over 20 years at this point.
Okay, and originally from Texas, so directly from Texas to Georgia.
Yes, I came out here for school, went to Spelman College, and just stayed.
Okay, what was that experience like? I know there's so many black colleges here, and I can't even imagine getting any work done if I went to one of those colleges because of all the eye candy.
Yes, no, definitely the best time of my life, but at the same time, the professors at Spelman, from the staff to the administration, they really treat you like, they're your aunties. Okay. That's kind of have that family community feel. So anytime I would start to get distracted and veer off, they'd be like, okay, now get yourself together. Yeah. So that's what I was looking for in that HBCU experience, to not just be a number. Yeah. And Spelman definitely delivered on that.
I love it. And what'd you go to, what was your major?
Psychology.
Psychology, fantastic. Are you utilizing that psychology degree now, or have you utilized it?
Well, I use it now when I'm designing my cards.
Okay.
Because I've always been interested in human emotion and the complexity of it. So I have one card that says, it's okay not to be okay.
I love that.
And I really got that from understanding that there is a full range of human emotion, human feeling, and I wanted to address a place where someone may be grieving, someone may be going through some challenging times in life, but they're not quite ready to be cheered up. And that's okay.
Yes.
Sometimes you need to sit with discomfort. Yes. Sometimes you need to sit with pain and just, in time, get yourself ready to be healed and cheered up. So definitely my background in psychology helps kind of understand all the little complexities that and the subtleties that we can go through. It's not just I'm happy or sad.
Yeah.
There's a full...
I got chills when you said that, because I think that that's definitely a gap in the market. And so before we go too far into that, I just want to really introduce the audience to who you are and what your work is. What is Kindred, Paper, Kindred Paper. So let's just backtrack a little bit. Tell us who you are, and also tell us about Kindred Paper and how that came about.
Sure. So my name is Savannah, as we discussed earlier, founder of Kindred Paper. Kindred Paper is a stationery brand where we specialize in greeting cards that are for us and by us. And my kind of hashtag slogan is, we love us for real. And so in creating Kindred Paper, I wanted to create a representation of the fullness of who we are, because we're not just one-dimensional. We have a variety of types of black women. My cards are catered toward black women, but I didn't always see my own reflection in what's necessarily brought to market or what's portrayed in mainstream media. For example, the strong black woman. I have another card that says strong black woman, and then I put underneath that soft black women. Okay. Because I think that, yes, we are strong. We can overcome so many challenges. But I think it's dangerous when we don't allow ourselves to be soft.
Yes.
When we don't allow ourselves to say, I'm not going to take on the world today. It's dangerous for us health-wise, emotionally. So I wanted to make a greeting card line that spoke to different types of Black women, different types of people. And so that's really the basis for Kindred Paper. And it's something that I had been thinking about since about 2018. I had been thinking about creating this greeting card line, didn't know if I could really do it. And then in 2020, that's when COVID happened.
The world transformed, yes, just a little.
And then in a matter of weeks, I went from working at my 9-to-5 job to, oh, you're packing up and you're going home, working from home in quarantine. So immediately had to shift from going into the office, dropping my kids off, to now I'm kind of a homeschool parent.
Right.
Because I had to help my 9-year-old with her virtual learning. And now my 2-year-old, she was 2 then, is at home with me. So that was fun.
You got an opportunity to develop new skills.
That's right. So definitely, and at the same time, I separated from my husband of 10 years. So not only was I shifted into a place of learning new skills, as you put it, I like that, but also learning how to do it on my own.
Yes.
And so there was a lot of topsy-turviness, a lot of chaos, but in that chaos, I got clarity. Because there are so many things that I know now that I was hiding behind. I was hiding behind that comfort. I was hiding behind my marriage. I was hiding behind my job. Not really doing the things that I wanted to do. And so I thought, oh, well, if this can all go to, go to hell.
Hell in a handbasket. Feel free to cuss, girlfriend. I do it all the time.
I wasn't sure. I was like, but those are the exact words that I was going to say. If this can all go to hell in a handbasket in one fell swoop, I might as well do what I want to do. I might as well live the life I want to live, because all of this comfortability was keeping me in place and keeping me with excuses on not to take up space. So I said, forget all of that. I'm going to go after what it is I really want to do. And so June 2020, I launched Kindred Paper.
I celebrate you for that. And that's not, it doesn't seem like, at least, that it's a very easy path to go down. Like, I think we talked when we were in our little interview process, and you were telling me that you didn't know where, where to start. You weren't a graphic artist. Like, you didn't have the skill set, but you had the desire, right? You had the desire, and you had the motivation, I guess we can say, to go figure it out. And I think that that's a piece that so many women, so many people, period, but really women, we struggle with that a lot, is like, we'll hope, we'll dream, we'll wish, we'll pray, but to actually step into action and be resourceful and make a decision and go make it happen is a whole other ball game. And that's what separates your average player from a successful player. But what I really want to find out from you is throughout this process of you becoming a single mom, stepping into entrepreneurship, which is like 2 very challenging things. How did you keep yourself from defaulting back into the strong Black woman stereotype, right? How did you balance that? What was your lessons throughout that journey?
So I got in community. I am an introvert. And I'm very internal. But what I knew was that I couldn't do this alone, that I shouldn't do this alone, because I'm very, like you mentioned, I'm very much, let me just figure this out. I was on YouTube, I was, learning via the internet. But one of the best things that I could have ever done was get into a business incubator. And I applied for United's Elevate program, and I got in, and it was really life-changing, because then I was able to connect with other entrepreneurs who are going through the same thing, because it can be a lonely place, like trying to figure it all out. And it's like my family and friends, they are such great cheerleaders and supporters, but
a blessing.
And a blessing, but they're not really understanding.
They're not in it. They're not entrepreneurs themselves.
How do I figure out how to scale? How do I figure out my marketing? So having those conversations with myself, and then taking it to a community where, okay, this is where what I did, and this is what worked for me. And not only that, we became friends. You know, several of my cohort members, we became friends. So, and they also addressed like the mental strain, the emotional strain, and that was a part of the program, just to recognize signs of burnout and things of that nature. So, really getting in community helped me to say, I'm not crazy for thinking these things.
No, I think it's necessary, which is the Badass Bodacious Life movement, because I believe we need to be fully expressed and embrace all parts of ourselves. And sometimes when people are in your position and they're looking to go into this entrepreneurial journey, they have this picture of what it's supposed to look like. And we have this little perfectionist in our head, right?
Yes.
That keeps us really in bondage, to be honest, because entrepreneurship is messy as hell, right?
Yes. If you're not failing, then you're not trying.
You're not learning, you're not trying, you're not doing anything, right? It doesn't come in a neat little package, but it takes having a support community, people that have walked the path that you walked or are in the process of it with you, to keep you encouraged and to be able to learn from each other in that way.
Absolutely.
So I always say that entrepreneurship is a spiritual journey. Yes. I think that being an entrepreneur from a very young age, I started in entrepreneurship at 16 years old, and originally was self-employed, and then over time evolved into a business owner. And yes, there is a difference. So for yourself, what are some of the lessons that you've learned, the things about yourself that you've learned and or shifted since becoming an entrepreneur?
You're so right that entrepreneurship is a spiritual journey, because it's really about developing my business, but it's so much about developing myself as well. So
it is a reflection of yourself, is what it is, because it holds a mirror up to you, like, oh, you thought you were this? Watch that. Oh, you thought you were this? Watch this. Right? So
I would say one of the biggest things is dealing with rejection. I was not a person that could withstand rejection very much. I would take it personally, I would take it very hard, and the fear of rejection would stop me from going out and asking, stop me from going out and trying. So I still bump heads with that fear, but I'm learning, it's like a muscle that I'm developing. So I'm learning to be like, okay, I have a little bit of trepidation about this. They may say no, but that's okay, because every no is going to get me closer to the yeses that matter. And so I can't be afraid to keep asking and to knock on as many doors. So that is definitely one of those spiritual things. It's like, bet on yourself.
100%. It's a big lesson, and lean into the discomfort. I always say that in entrepreneurship, if you're not doing something that scares the shit out of you, you're not really doing anything, right?
Exactly.
But I'm really interested to find out now, because you are divorced from your husband of 10 years. How long have you been divorced?
About a year and a half.
Okay, so very short period of time. And are you dating?
Yes.
Okay, so here's my question. My question is, how has the learnings and the experiences that you've had journeying into entrepreneurship mirrored your dating experiences, right? Like, who are you now, and what are those lessons that you're bringing into your dating relationships that you may have learned through the journey of entrepreneurship?
So they do mirror.
Totally. How you do anything is how you do everything.
That's right. That's so true. So in my marriage of 10 years, we were very comfortable. We were just existing in the middle.
Cruising.
Yes. And I realized that wasn't for me. Even prior to our divorce, we would have conversations where I would say, this is not enough. And it's not just about material or financial wealth, but it's just about, I know that I can do more. I know that I wasn't put on this earth to push papers, that's not my purpose. And so we would have these conversations, but I learned that we weren't aligned in that area. And that's nothing wrong with my ex-husband, and nothing wrong with his perspective. Right. But I just realized that we weren't aligned in that way. Like, that's okay. That's okay. I just learned that we're different. And so to now, the person that I'm dating, is very much aligned with the motivation and our desire to just really fulfill our purpose.
Okay.
And so we were able to do that in conjunction together. And I feel like when you are intentional about going after your purpose, things will align. Relationships will align.
Yeah.
Things will be put into your path. And so I feel like that's one of those things that he was put into my path so we could build together.
Yeah, 100%. You underwent your own transformation. You got clear on who you are and who you're not.
Right.
What you want and what you don't want. And then from that point, you became an energy force that called in the things that were in alignment with where it is that you were looking to go. And so I'd be interested to know, because you have 2 daughters, correct?
Yes.
How has your transformation over the last year and a half affected them? Have you seen any changes, any boosts in confidence, any like feelings of liberation from your girls? Because in essence, you were living a life that kind of chose you previously, it sounds like, rather than a life that you were designing.
Correct.
And please correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're absolutely
That's
right.
what I'm feeling.
I was just thinking that things happen to me.
Right.
Not
victimhood mentality.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
Yes.
And so in making the decision to separate, my girls were my biggest hesitation and consideration because I didn't want to break up their happy home.
Yes.
But I realized that I wasn't happy.
Right.
And the best mom that I could be is a happy mom. And so I knew that I had to do that. And they have seen the change in me. They feel the change. They know, they can witness me experiencing more joy. And my 9-year-old, she calls herself my chief of marketing. So she's just so proud of me. Everywhere we go, we can be online in the grocery store or anyone we meet, she says, my mom has a greeting card company. And she's just super proud of me. And it was actually one day I was getting ready to shoot a video reflecting on my experience in the business incubator in the Elevate program that I was telling you about. And I went to a boutique and I was picking out a dress so I could be, camera ready. And so she says to the boutique owner, my mom's gonna be in a video. She has a greeting card company. And so the boutique owner said, oh really, I'd love to see some of your work. And so my daughter whips out my phone, because she's always on my phone, and she pulls up my website. She's showing the boutique owner my greeting cards. And so we secured a deal on that spot. And
that's amazing.
It was everything for me for her to see 2 women business owners securing a deal. And actually she took the initiative to say, maybe this would be a good place for Kindred's greeting cards. So just that she's able to experience that, witness that, and soak it all in is one of the main reasons why I'm doing this, because I'm telling her and my 3-year-old, you can do, have, and be anything you want in life. But if I'm not living that, they're not going to do that. Children will always do what you do.
Exactly.
And seldom do what you say. So if I'm preaching to you, you can do anything that you dream of. I need to be showing you that. I need to be walking in that. And it also helps me to maintain balance, because when I do get stressed out, I'm thinking, if they're looking at me getting stressed, being a business owner, they're like, I'm not going that route. This. So I'm intentional about stopping, pausing for joy, pausing for play with them, so they can see you can have everything.
I love that you said that. I always have to check myself on that one, because I love everything that I'm doing. And my boys, I have 5 children total, 2 still at home, a 15-year-old and a 12-year-old, and my 15-year-old is always watching me, right? He's like, Mom, you work all the time, even though to me, I take lots of breaks. I take Friday self-care day, I do Sunday family day, I'm always I'll leave for like a month, right? Like I travel all the time, but in his perception, I work all the time. And I said, well, I was like, for one thing, I own my business, and there's a difference between ownership and working for someone else. I said, but also you have to understand, I love what I do. Like it doesn't ever feel like work. And so I think it's beautiful that you're modeling that for your girls, but it also is such a courageous move on your part, because you did the divorce and the starting the business almost simultaneously,
Oh yeah,
right?
it was very much at the same time.
You shook shit up,
yeah,
like
I did.
real good.
I had to.
Yeah.
I had to, because I realized this is not a dress rehearsal. Like this is it. This is the big show. So if I'm going to make it count every single day, to make it count.
I'm in love with your Kindred Paper. I haven't seen them yet. I would like to have that experience. I want to definitely share where people can connect with your Kindred Paper products, but just the psychology piece of it, and just even from a couple of the captions that you talked about in those cards, I can feel how it's contributing to not only our women, because if you have a target market, you're targeting the Black woman, there's still going to be so many other women who see those cards, experience those cards, and have their own transformation. But where can people find your Kindred Papers?
So my website is Our Kindred Paper, because it's our paper. It's OURKINDRED paper.com. And I'm also on social at Kindred Paper, but papers without the E.
We'll put it all in there so that we get it straight.
Okay. So
yeah, I love that. So as we end this particular segment, I just want to ask, what's been the biggest lesson for you in your life? And if there's a young woman out there who, is looking to maybe make some shifts in their life, but they're afraid and they're concerned what the people around them might think, and maybe they're questioning their ability to actually execute the changes, what would you tell that woman?
I would tell that woman, do it scared. Because there were so many times when I wanted to do something, but I was afraid. And I had to shift my thinking to realize that fear might not ever go away, but it won't make decisions for me. It won't stop me from doing the things that I want to do. And also, that fear is just a thought. That's all it is. There is no proof, no evidence that my fears are going to come to life until I try it and see. And most of the time, when I do try it and see, there's no reason for that fear in the first place. So that is my imparting words, do it scared.
Yeah, I love that. I would even add to that a lot of times when we're feeling what we think is fear, it's actually excitement.
Yes.
Right? So oftentimes we confuse excitement and fear because it is very closely related.
Yes.
But your destiny, your purpose is what it is. Spirit's got you. It's always going to work out, no matter what path you choose. But I'm happy that you've chosen the path that you have, and that you're affecting so many other people's lives because of it.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
I just love your energy and your spirit.
Thank you
great.
so much.
So I also want to thank you for joining this episode of Living Room Wisdom. I would love for you to go over to Facebook, join our Badass Bodacious Entrepreneurs community, where you can connect with more amazing women like Miss Savannah. And go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can come back week after week and hear more stories of amazing women. With that said, I love you, I appreciate you, namaste, and we'll see you next week.